Good morning, students. My name is Mrs. Schreiber, and today we're going to do a lesson on main idea and details in a nonfiction text. Throughout my lesson, you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil or something to write with, and you're also going to have an opportunity at the end to look at a QR code and scan it. So if you don't have your device ready, go ahead and download that QR code app on your phone or device. Also, our secret word today is turtle. Don't forget that word. All right, let's get started. Let's watch this Go Noodle to get ready, calm, alert, ready to learn.
From mindless to mindful. To be mindful is to let your attention rest on this moment, on just right now. Let's practice being in the moment. Your body is still, right now. Can you feel that? Your breath is moving in and out of your nose. Can you notice that? Rest one hand on your chest. Can you feel your breath? Move that hand to your belly. Notice breath there. Can you feel that? Bring your hands around to your back. Breath might be moving there. Feel that? This bell is ringing right now. Can you hear that? Where is your attention? Did it wander? It's okay. That's what minds do. Let's practice a little bit more. Now this bell is ringing. Can you hear that? This green dot is still. Can you see that? Some of the other dots are moving. Notice that and then focus your attention on the very still dot. Return your attention to your body. Hands. They're still. Can you feel them? Feet are still. Can you feel them? You are here right now. Can you feel that? In this moment, you are mindful. Do you notice that? There are moments in your day when you can practice being mindful. When you are reading, just read. When you are tying your shoe, just tie your shoe. When you are chewing your food, just chew. Your mind can be full of one thing, one moment at a time.
All right, so the focus of our lesson today is on standard 4RN 2.2. It says, determine the main idea of a text and explain how it is supported by key details. Summarize the text. And our I can statement for today, I say, you say. I can determine the main idea and explain how it is supported by the details. Good job. All right, so as we review with this vocabulary, I want you to jot down on your piece of paper anything that you think would be important when we determine our main idea of a text.
All right, class, I know you're ready for the weekend. Don't forget about your 5-page paper and make sure that you express your main idea and back it up.
Listen up. lend me an ear. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. Yeah, come on, let me in ear. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. Have you ever read something and when you got to the end, you didn't get the point? Nope, you didn't understand. Well, let me break it down for the next time you read. There's gonna be 3 basic things you see: the subject, main idea, and the details. Sorta like a city, the house, the people. The subject is the broad thing that it's about. The main idea, what's that now? It's the main thing the writer wants to say. It's the central point. You get it? Okay. You can often find it in the first couple lines, but it could be anywhere, so go find it. It's supported by specific details. The facts in the sentences, be real. They should add up to make the main idea, kid. They form up like cheerleaders in a pyramid. Like I just read an article called Bare Facts, and it talked about how they could be brown or black, polar or grizzly or another type. They're all good hunters and they know how to fight, cause they have big paws so they can catch fish, and big sharp teeth that they eat with. And if they want to climb a tree to find something to eat, their super sharp claws are all that they need. See? Now let's break it down. I mean, let's dig deeper in the article I found. What's the subject? And what would be the main idea they had there? The bears are good hunters, that's most important. And how about the details they had to support it? They have large teeth, paws, and claws. And that's how you know hunting is a bear's job. Listen up, lend me an ear. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. Yeah, come on, let me in ear. The hot new thing is the main idea, supported by the details to keep it all clear. The main idea is the reason that we're all here. I just read a story about a boy named Ben on the first day of school. Well, what happened then? Ben clutched his new backpack and walked in with a big smile when he saw his old friends. Tried to play it cool when he saw his old crush, but when she was close, his mind turned to mush. He liked his art teacher, that class was real fun, and was so worked up that he could hardly eat lunch. Now, what's the subject? Ben's first day of school. And what's the main idea? What's the author want to prove? Ben's first day of school was exciting. Details to back that up, where are they hiding? When Ben saw his old friends, he was psyched, and he was nervous around the girl that he liked. He even had a backpack that was brand new. Now I get the main idea, can you?
All right, so thinking back to some things that we need to determine the main idea, we know that there's a subject or a topic. Subject or topic. Sometimes people refer to it as topic, sometimes they talk to you about a subject. And that's 1 or 2 words, and it's the broad thing that the passage is about. You might have heard them refer to that as the city in the video. Also, main idea. Main idea is 1 sentence, and it's what the passage is mostly about. We refer to that as the house, so the house inside the city. And then the details. You have 3 or 4 sentences, could be a lot more sentences, and they support that main idea. Think of that as the people inside the house inside the city. All of them go together. So as we read this story, get out your pencil and paper again, and I want you to jot down the who, what, when, where, and why of this story. Threatened. Loggerhead sea turtles glide gently through many of the world's oceans. They are known for their beauty and graceful nature. Once widely hunted, they continue to face threats both in water and on land. Description. Largest of the hard-shelled turtles, adult male loggerheads, usually weigh about 250 pounds. They are not as big as soft-shelled leatherback turtles, though. Leatherback turtles can weigh over 1,000 pounds. With wide heads and very powerful jaws, the loggerhead's strong jaws help them crush and eat shellfish. They eat clams, crabs, and sea urchins. They also eat jellyfish, squid, and fish. Habitat. Loggerhead turtles live in the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Mediterranean Sea. They inhabit both deep ocean waters and shallow coastal waters. They travel long distances between their ocean feeding areas and their nesting beaches. Pacific loggerhead turtles migrate from Japan all the way to the coast of Mexico. They travel over 7,500 miles in the ocean. Biology. Although they spend most of their life at sea, loggerheads build their nests on beaches. Female turtles lay 3 to 5 nests of eggs during a nesting season. These nests are called clutches. Each nest contains 100 to 120 turtle eggs. The eggs incubate in the nest for 2 months before they hatch. Loggerhead hatchlings are very small. They measure about 2 inches in length. The hatchlings usually emerge from their nests at night when the sand is cool. They make their way to the ocean by following the light of the moon and stars reflected in the water. The baby turtles then live for months eating and floating in large masses of seaweed. Threats. Loggerhead turtles face a number of threats in their ocean environment. Ocean pollution can be very harmful to the turtles. Plastic bags are sometimes dumped into the ocean. Loggerheads mistake the floating bags for jellyfish and eat them. This makes them very sick. Loggerhead turtles also get trapped in fishing lines and fishing nets. Their hatchlings and eggs also face threats on land. Predators like raccoons and snakes eat turtle eggs and hatchlings. Destruction of their beach nesting areas also puts them at risk. Because of the many dangers they face, loggerhead turtles are considered a vulnerable species. Conservation. People around the world are working hard to protect them. Volunteers help keep predators away from turtle nesting areas. They also help reduce ocean pollution. Conservation organizations work closely with fishermen to use turtle excluder devices, or TEDs, on their nets. These devices make sure that loggerhead turtles do not get trapped in nets. Scientists estimate that there are between 40,000 and 50,000 nesting female loggerhead turtles worldwide. All right, so one thing I wanted to point out is our text features. We notice that text features like a heading, that tells our reader what each section or chapter is mainly about. Our subheadings, that's our smaller headings within a text. And it tells the reader what one part of the text within a section or chapter is about. A map, maps help readers understand where something is located. You have photographs, those are images to show the reader exactly what something looks like. And a caption goes along with it. It's either above or below those pictures to give the reader information more specifically about what that picture is. And then also we have keywords, and those keywords are usually written either in bold print, italics when they're slanted, or in maybe a different color. And that just emphasizes to the reader that those are important words. So looking back at our passage, we have the heading or our title, which is threatened. You can see I put a big box around that. And then we also have subheadings. Description and habitat are 2 of them. And so that also just gives us as a reader more attention to focus specifically on those sections. So if I zoom in even further on just the section that's called description, I can find the main idea of just that section. I know when I read a passage for nonfiction, it's really hard to follow because it's really long and sometimes it's hard to get all that information. So by just looking at a small section, one at a time, we can determine the main ideas of those specific sections, and then it will help us eventually write our summary. So description. Let's look at this section, and I'm going to read it again so that we have it familiar. Largest of the hard-shelled turtles, adult male loggerheads usually weigh about 250 pounds. They are not as big as soft-shelled leatherback turtles, though. Leatherback turtles can weigh over 1,000 pounds. With wide heads and very powerful jaws, the loggerhead's strong jaws help them crush and eat shellfish. They eat clams, crabs, and sea urchins. They also eat jellyfish, squid, and fish. So now's another time where I need you to get out your pencil and paper. And I want you to create this graphic organizer. It's a circle, looks like a pie shape. And we're gonna think about just the details. So we're really closely reading that paragraph or that section so that we can find those details to help us write our main idea for that section. So I'm gonna put the title of that subheading, which was called description, because again, I'm going to get the main idea for each section. So I'm going to be filling out one of these for each section so that I can then write my summary at a later time. So I want to keep them organized. So let's go back to our passage. I'm going to just look at the first sentence. Largest of the hard-shelled turtles, adult male loggerheads usually weigh about 250 pounds. Okay, so if I was going to write notes, I'm going to just jot down a bullet point, and then I'm going to just jot down part of what I read. I don't need to write it all down because that takes way too long. So I'm going to jot down the note, largest hard-shelled, male, LT, I abbreviated because I don't want to write all that out, and 250 pounds. So I know that was the gist of what I just read in that sentence. Let's keep going. They are not as big as soft-shelled leatherback turtles, though. Leatherback turtles can weigh over 1,000 pounds. Okay. So I have another detail that I can jot down on my note catcher. Not as big as soft-shell leatherbacks, okay? And leatherbacks, 1,000 pounds. Again, I'm just abbreviating pounds, and I'm not writing the whole sentence that I read because that would be way too much information, and I'm just jotting down notes. So yours should look like mine right now. Moving on to the next sentence. With wide heads and very powerful jaws, the loggerheads, strong jaw, strong jaws help them crush and eat shellfish. So looking at that big sentence, I want to add to my pie piece. But I was talking up here in this pie piece about describing how much the loggerhead weighed. Now I'm on to a different topic within that section, and I'm talking about their diet. So I want to do in a new pie piece, and I want to enter that information in. Wide head, powerful jaw to eat shellfish. So again, this section was about how much they weighed and comparing them to the soft shell leatherbacks. And then this new section, new pie piece, is going to be about their diet. It's something totally different. So let's keep going. They eat clams, crabs, and sea urchins. They also eat jellyfish, squid, and fish. So I'm going to add that as another bullet point because I'm still talking about their diet. Eats jellyfish, squid, and fish. That's the whole section. But I have this whole pie piece. Is that a problem? No. I have that whole pie piece and I can use it if I need it, but if I had more than just that small section, if I had more words or more paragraphs, I can divide these pie pieces into half and make more sections. Whatever passage you're reading, whatever the need is, you can always just adapt this graphic organizer to what you're using. So now let's writing a main idea sentence around these details that we have pulled from that section. I've got largest hard-shelled male leatherback, that's 250 pounds, not as big as soft-shell leatherbacks. Leatherbacks are 1,000 pounds. So leatherbacks being 1,000 pounds, I know that this is all about our loggerhead turtles. So leatherbacks is not really that important. So knowing that information that leatherbacks are 1,000 pounds is probably not information that would be useful for us to write a main idea. We don't need to include that. So I'm just going to cross it out. And then probably eating jellyfish, squid, and fish. I probably don't need that either, but I can probably use it as part of what I'm saying here with their powerful jaw and their wide head. So I can include and incorporate that. So if I look back up at my first section, I want to talk about maybe that they're not as big as soft-shelled leatherbacks. So I'm going to start off with that. Smaller than soft-shelled turtles. So I know that they were smaller. So I'm going to start off with that sentence starter. And then I'm going to talk about how much they weighed, but I'm going to have to talk about what specifically or who I'm talking about, which is our adult male loggerhead turtles. Then I'm going to talk about how big they are, about 250 pounds. And then I'm going to bring in this information here, wide head and strong jaws to eat their food. I don't want to spend a lot of time because my main idea should be short. It should not incorporate, I don't need to write all these details because all of that was their food that they eat. So therefore, my main idea of that section is smaller than the soft-shell turtles. Adult male loggerhead turtles are about 250 pounds and use their wide heads and strong jaws to eat their food. So looking back here, here's our passage, our section, and we can see that it's pretty big. It takes up about half the page. When I look at my main idea that we just wrote, it's much smaller. All right, my extension activity is called The Details Are in the Bag. Some materials you might need are a piece of paper, construction paper, Ziploc baggies, glue, markers, crayons, colored pencils, some note cards, some scissors, and a paper bag. Again, you can adjust these to anything that you have at your house. You can use tearing for scissors, you can use tape for glue. If you don't have a brown paper bag, you can also use like the plastic grocery bags. So what you're first going to do is you're going to read a passage, a nonfiction passage, and you're going to jot down on note cards the details. So you can see here I use the details that we had from our graphic organizer. Then I'm going to make a bag. I'm going to get a brown paper bag and I'm going to put the title of my article on the front. Next, I'm going to take my note cards that I've already made and I'm going to take some baggies and I'm going to have a friend or family member sort them for importance. If they're important and they think they'd be part of our main idea, then they're going to put them in a baggie and stick them inside of the brown bag. If they think they're not important details, they're going to leave them off to the side. And finally, you have made an answer sheet, and so they're going to check their answers and make sure that the details they put in the bag are the correct details. And the ones that they left out were the unimportant ones. Here's my QR code. You can scan this now and you'll get the directions for my activity, so you can do it with any passage. And then there's also another passage in there. I also incorporated the passage that we read today, threatened. And if you would do me a favor, you can also, each section in that passage, there are more of them, you can do the exact same thing with the pie pieces that I did today with each one of those sections. And in lessons to come, we're going to take all of those pie pieces and make a summary with it. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget our word of the day is turtle, and have a great afternoon.